I know you're tired. I know you're hurting. And I wish I could say something that was classy and inspirational.
You can do it!
But that just wouldn't be our style.
Welcome to Project Reclamation, where you rebuild, re-energize, and reclaim your life.
I was one political party a lot of my life, and then I started just questioning stuff, and I listened to JB, and JB got me to look up a few things, and then I was like, you know what, I don't like any of the political parties, and now I'm just, I'm an anarchist. Well, not really, but I'm more of a libertarian. It is what it is, but, and then have a political discussion with somebody who's one party or the other, and then be like, well, you hate Trump, or you love Trump, or whatever, and it's like, well, no, I actually voted for the stoner guy. So,
well, it's really hard to separate emotion from intelligence, and I'm not saying that everybody acts emotionally, but for the most part, people act emotionally, not intellectually.
Right, and we've talked about how you should not act emotionally in social situations, at least not right away. At least like take a step back from it, and the same thing applies for everything else. All these stories. Don't act emotionally right away. Just because a story involves kids or horror or tragedy, and I'm not saying be callous, but still use logic. Like, don't just jump to a conclusion because they used something that pulls at your heartstrings. Because guess what? Manipulative people are going to do that. I'm not saying they're all manipulative. I'm just saying use your brain, be logical, and come to your own opinions. That's all I'm saying.
It's just a fail safe to get past the, emotionally triggered, bombshell topic kind of things. Just look at it with a logical, intellectual lens, and it'll be fine. You'll.
Steve, what can we talk about that's going to engage you?
Yeah, sorry, Steve. I didn't mean to leave you in the dust here, brother.
No, dude. You guys have your thoughts and theories.
Well, but I'd like to hear your take on some of this stuff too, because
I don't really
Tim and I have talked about this, and I mean, are we like turning your world upside down, or are we just like?
No, I guess some people say ignorance is bliss, and I'm not ignorant. I'm just
no.
Ignorant
You're the opposite of ignorant. But
one of the things is that I don't necessarily have any thoughts or theories on how government is negative on that level, or government might be steering me wrong, or anything on that level.
You're also not jumping into the line to do what they want you to do.
Yeah,
Steve is more aloof than ignorant.
I'm doing my own thing, y'all.
And that's the thing,
there's
too.
There's a big difference between aloof and ignorant. Ignorance is the people who will blindly take marching orders, whereas aloof is just people who are like, you know what, I'm just not going to get involved in that shit. And I'm all for aloofness.
And most of our lives aren't directly affected by the, decisions and that are made. So that's a good thing.
That's true.
I mean, they can be eventually. Who knows?
Think what you want to think about our founding fathers, and it is what it is. It doesn't matter. But one thing they did definitely do is, by design, they designed our government to move slowly when it comes to making changes. And that was
that's a good thing,
right? Absolutely.
Think about all the problems that we have as individual human beings,
because
and
of quick reference,
that we struggle with on a daily basis. Think about having to make decisions that directly affect the lives of 600, 700 million people.
Well, and it's not just that; it's just generations of people.
Well, yeah, and people
that's kind of what I'm getting at. Is like, you're having to make these drastic yet bland decisions that it's like a time release Tylenol, like something that you drop the pill down the throat of the collective people that it releases slowly. You know what I'm saying? And that's hard to do. There's a lot of R&D that goes into those drugs. So can you imagine making those decisions that will directly affect the generations to come?
It's stressful.
I'm looking at that through that eye when I say all this stuff, quote unquote, conspiratorially.
Well, also you're gonna turn to, if you're in that situation where you have to make those decisions. I mean, that's stressful and it weighs on you, and so you're gonna turn to the people around you, and there's definitely, and this is going to sound, again, conspiratorial, there's definitely people in powerful positions that have the ear of the politicians who may be idealistic when they walk in, and they're going to turn to these people who are experts, and then they're going to give them advice. And it's like that whole, I don't know, if you're a Star Wars person, it's like the whole Darth Vader, like Emperor thing. Like, he's in his ear all the time telling,
it's like some kid coming out of college with this idealistic view of life, talking to a grandpa or somebody who would live through World War II. You're having to interface that way too. Like, hey, we should do all this. We should do all this. all right, well, this is the realistic way of doing it, and then there's this meeting in the middle that you have to come to,
Absolutely. So, Steve, what do you want to talk about?
I don't know. Welcome to Project Reclamation. Yeah.
What interests you, Steve?
I rode this roller coaster again.
That was
today.
that was
gonna
like
lie.
you went to
30,
you went to Bella
38
Park
minutes
today?
of.
I did.
Well, that's going to be a bonus episode, I'm pretty sure.
Love that roller coaster.
So, Steve, what did you do today?
I went on a run today with my super athletic friend.
So, Steve, you want to run? You went on a run today with your friend?
Yeah, I went on this run today
All right.
with this super. She's like a fitness fanatic.
Aficionado.
Yeah, she's
She
a fitness
is-
aficionado. She's like been certified, all
She's
that
a
other
fitsy.
stuff. Yeah, but then not only that, she's like,
Fitnessionado.
yeah, she's a super good runner, and she's like not an endurance runner by any stretch of the means, but she's a super good runner. And so, honestly, it was just nice. Like, when you have a good jam session, I don't know how to play the guitar. I imagine I would be the worst person to play the guitar with because I have no fucking clue what I'm doing. But imagine if you like ran with somebody, or you did exercise with somebody, or you did watch the game with somebody that like had the same amount of passion or fervor for whatever you're doing. That's pretty cool.
Like the same amount of passion or more passion?
Okay, so
I don't know.
Like
Maybe she was more
relatively, I
passionate.
consider you an amazing runner. Just to give the listeners a kind of a take on it. What was your fastest marathon time?
Oh, it wasn't very fast at all. It wasn't very fast
okay.
at all.
What was it though?
It was like 5+ hours. It wasn't very, very fast at all.
All right. Well, it would take me probably
So, wait,
9
so
or
you're
10.
saying 308 is like a really good time.
Oh, 308 is an amazing time. I wouldn't even know who does it in 308. Boston Marathoners probably do it in 308.
Well, dude, when
so-
David Goggins was like, he couldn't even walk, he ran the fucking Las Vegas Marathon in 308.
Oh, yeah. I have a different perspective. Like I train, and then when I get to marathon time, I enjoy that time. I enjoy
you know
all
what?
the
You're
little.
right, though. I didn't even think of that. I ran 2 halves, and I think my first one I got 345
Yeah,
for a half.
that's
marathon.
great.
And then the second one I got
So
315.
that's what
great.
I'm saying here is that I'm just trying to impress upon the way in which you see this person and their
So at
their
308,
aptitude.
you're one of the first people that finished, for sure, right?
You're definitely in the top.
Do you know what you have to get to qualify for Boston?
It's really, really fast. It's really, really fast, even for their like senior
Is
divisions.
that just because so many people want to do it? Why is that one so popular?
I think it's just the hardest one. It's like the standard. It's the gold standard of.
Is it like super hilly or what?
I don't think so. I think it's just like they make their times like really, really hard, and everyone around the world knows that it's like the
So
one.
is the
It's like the
New
club.
York
It's the
Marathon
club.
different?
It's like the club that keeps a line just to make everything super exclusive. Like they.
No. I get that. So it's purely
It's all marketing, dude.
exclusivity.
It's like seafood, dude. It's all marketing. Like, oh my god, we fished out the white sea bass. Like the white sea bass barely exists anymore. Well, we need a replacement. Okay, well fine. There's this ugly ass fish in the South America that tastes kind of good and it has this white meat. It's not a bass at all, and it's ugly as fuck. And it's called a Patagonian toothfish. But hey, let's rename it the Chilean sea bass and charge $28 a pound. Fucking
That was
genius
a really
idea.
long description. You could have just talked about bourbon
Jesus.
and that whole industry. So
Or, dude, you know what?
Just fucking with you.
It's like, dude, there is a thing called a scallop hammer. And you know why a scallop hammer exists?
Dude.
Because so many scallops that you buy are not really scallops. They're other things that are pounded out in the shape of a scallop to look like a
the
scallop.
scallop hammer. That sounds like Aquaman's sidekick.
Dude, there's a thing called a scallop hammer. It's literally
Aquaman
it's a
and the
circle-
scallop
it's a
hammer.
circle-shaped fucking cookie cutter that is on the end of a hammer handle. And it's used to punch circles out of like rays and other fish that have that
Oh.
whatever.
Yeah, that white
they
kind of
sell
like
as
dense-
scallops. And then
dense
you,
white fish,
You buy scallops
shark,
that
rays.
aren't really scallops, or you get served scallops that aren't really scallops. Lobster is basically the cockroach of the sea. It's not rare. There's no reason it should be expensive. It used to be fed to prisoners, but marketing makes lobster fancy and expensive, so that's why we pay so much.
Well, I
for
mean,
lobster.
we can get into a ton of this. I mean, diamonds are the same way.
Dude, diamonds
so,
are the
I
same
mean,
way. That's more of a monopoly, though. That's a different story.
Well, but
We
still,
can talk about
I mean,
diamonds for sure.
If you're interested in diamonds, go listen to Sofa King's podcast episode De Beers Diamonds. I think it was
De Beers,
something.
not De Bears, De Beers,
Not De Bears. De Bears.
Classy
Great
Colin.
SNL. If you guys aren't big fans of old SNL, or not big fans, but if you aren't well versed in old SNL, go look up old SNL, Chris Farley, De Bears. I think you'll enjoy it. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Who
And you know what? If you don't enjoy it the first time, you should probably just keep watching it. I mean, just again and again and again, and maybe you'll enjoy it like the 15th time. But don't quit. Just keep going and going and going. Because you know what? If something doesn't work the first time, you should try it again, and then again, and then again.
Hey Tim.
Yeah.
This sounds awfully like a topic we were going to talk about today.
What would that be, JB?
Persimmons?
Persimmons.
Persimmons are delicious.
Persimmons.
Personality?
That's what it was.
They grow on
Yes,
trees.
like
Persistence?
fig-like fruits.
Huh. Persistence. Interesting.
Persimmons.
JB, I love you, by the way. You got it.
I know, dude. That's like the first time ever. You know
Well,
why though?
honestly, dude,
because
the
I was
last-
persistent in trying to recognize.
I'll be honest, dude.
Your-
the first time
your
that
segues.
The only other time that you haven't gotten my segue was the failure episode. And I probably shouldn't be saying this because it's kind of ironic that we failed at the recognizing the failure episode segue.
Well, and maybe I was. Yeah,
I wish we could. I
failed
wish we could say we
completely.
did that on purpose, but yeah, it's not.
Yeah, I failed. But I was like,
dude,
like
we
to
all
sell the
failed.
fact that-
I was selling it. You were buying
Yeah,
it.
you didn't
failed.
sell it well. I didn't
sell
recognize it well. It's all good. We failed. But you know what? Hey, here we are next week trying it again.
Here we are. You know why? We're
So-
trying it again. And I tried a very similar segue as I did last time. You know why? Because I'm persistent. Because that is where success lies, at the end of persistence.
That's right.
So this is
And
yet
persistence
another
is a road.
Persistence is this is absolutely going to be a continuation / sister episode. That's kind of sexist. Should I say brother episode? No, because that's also sexist.
Yeah, it's
related
a sibling
It's
episode.
oh, dude, it's a sibling episode to the failure episode. So this is
Yeah,
and now
which pretty much all our episodes are siblings.
well, dude, they all
and
it's
they're
just-
like Duggar
just
close. in
Duggar
age.
knots.
one big. It's just one big incestuous circle.
Yeah, it's like they are all Irish twins. It's within a year.
Basically, we must be Catholic because we have 7 million children that are all related, and that's how our episodes.
Yeah, and we hate contraception.
We do
I mean,
hate
it's basically
contraception.
against our religional
and
rules.
I'm half Italian, so I can say that. I don't know what. Anyways,
I'm half Mormon.
JB's
so,
half
I mean,
Mormon,
it's
so he
kind
can
of
also
the same
say that
way.
same thing. And Steve
Not
is,
practicing.
Steve is half Chinese, and the other half of him is also Chinese. So
I'm all
Yeah.
100%
Steve is
805
making a
though.
pyramid with
805.
microphone.
Yeah.
What do you call that? A windsock? A screen sock? A sock screen? JB?
It's a windsaw. I don't know.
What do you call the
It's a-
little thing that?
It's
covers
a little
the
microphone fuzzies.
The thing that fits over the microphone.
Yeah.
foam piece that covers the microphone. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a windscreen.
Oh, windscreen. Okay. So Steve is making a pyramid out of windscreens. I lost my windscreen. So I went to go buy one at Fry's Electronics. Shout out to you, Fry's. And all I could find, I just wanted one black one. All I could find was a pack of 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yo, man, put the red one on,
5.
dude. You got the red cable and everything.
Put a red one on. You know what?
The fact that you guys have fries out there makes me really
Dude,
jealous.
Fry's,
I love
Fry's
fries.
Electronics is amazing. What did I need? I needed two things. I needed a cord that was, what do you call it? Is that a USB 1 to USB 2? What is that?
I just call it a printer cable.
It's a printer cable.
because-
I needed a fucking printer
yeah.
cable. Let's be honest. So I went and I needed a printer cable and a microphone windscreen. So I went to Fry's, and guess what? I got both of them there because it's amazing. Love Fry's. So shout out to Fry's. They give us no money, but hey, they had my windscreen and my printer cable, and that's what I needed. So thanks, Fry's. So yeah, so I got this. All they had was this multi-pack, and it's I have a blue one, a yellow one, a red one, an orange one, and a black one. All I wanted was a black one. Let's be honest.
Now you're set for days.
Yeah.
For days.
Yeah, so then, so that's it, guys. Yeah, so persistence. I think persistence. Now, again, I mean, we talked. I was listening to the failure episode earlier today, and I mean, 90% of our episode we talked about persistence. So this is just going to be a continuation of that. But
Well, let me lay this down.
please
Sorry,
do.
I don't mean
Please
to
do.
interrupt,
Thank
but
you. Because I'm lacking direction right now.
if you've listened to any number of our episodes, and I'm speaking solely from my perspective, we started this whole thing through the necessity to put forth some creative juices in the light of professional, I don't want to say failures, but professional setbacks, and the need to kind of come back together in a social environment. We all we love each other. We've been friends forever. We took this opportunity to bring in a number of different things together and try something. So we failed a number of times. We
failed
not
at what
the
exactly?
best.
Failed at this podcast, or
I think no.
at
I
life?
think just failed at exceeding our expectations initially.
I think our initial problem
it-
was having expectations.
Well, but that's my thing. Is we okay? Maybe we failed at making expectations, but here's my point being is that we started doing something. We just kind of jumped in. All right. So what happens when you jump in? You're in the water. You're treading water. You got to go forward. All right. Well, okay. It gets rocky. It gets wavy. You get tired. So what do? You have to keep going forward. I guess you don't have to. If you want to succeed, you have to keep going forward. If you want to live, if you want to get to where you're going. I never thought that the three of us would keep doing this to this point. We're at episode 23 now.
Yes, sir.
And I think the
Michael
fact
Jordan
that
of
the three of us have leaned on each other, have made it easy for us to be persistent because we respect each other. We don't want to let each other down. That's an easy way to be persistent because we don't want to let each other down. We want to keep going. We want to see what this has to offer, what we have to offer other people. That's kind of how I see the whole persistence thing, is that like you are listening and you are seeing persistence in its purest form at this point. We are just moving forward at a weekly basis to basically purely fueled by persistence.
Absolutely. Well, and I think each other, we've kept each other on board, but I think a lot of it too is that feedback, and I think feedback is important no matter what we're talking about. If it's your job, I think feedback is important because if you keep kind of trying different ways to do something well and nobody's giving you any feedback, then it's tough, dude.
Well, but and that comes down to communication as well.
Sure, but what I'm saying is communication from our listeners has actually it's changed our direction completely.
Well, it's definitely increased our chances of success.
Well, and the funny thing is
because we've been persistent.
Absolutely, and we always say, like, I mean, I tell you, JB, because I think this is something that plagues you more than anyone, but I think it plagues every one of us is that, self-doubt is a bad thing. And
it's terrible.
Well, for sure. But I think we all have it. And I think one of the biggest wrong freeway exits that we had, that we almost got off on, the three of us as a group, was changing who we are or producing something that wasn't completely honestly, not that we were going to be dishonest, but just we were going to go towards a more polished version of us. And apparently that's not what people want. And I'll be honest, I'm fucking so glad, because the fact that people just like who we are, I mean, dude, it's an ego boost, first of all, but second of all, it's kind of cool. I mean, it's really that to have people that and don't really know, or kind of know, or don't know at all, tell you, hey, we really like you just being you. I mean, I'm nothing special.
Well,
JB,
it makes
JB's a cool guy,
so much easier for us to be persistent.
It's so much easier
because of those little wins.
Dude, with all the self-doubt, just think about this, JB, man. Someone that you don't even know saying that they enjoy hearing JB being himself. I mean, dude, that's the best pat on the back you could possibly get.
That's like the best affirmation you could ever hope for.
And I could tell you guys this, be yourself, because you don't have to do a podcast but what I can tell you is that people will like you for you. So just shed that self-doubt, because, hey, you know what, JB, and Steve's actually pretty cool. JB and I, whatever. But the fact that people like the three of us, for us, is cool as hell. And like, it's the biggest, not even ego boost, because like, it doesn't make me narcissistic. It just makes me thankful.
It's just a good affirmation.
It makes me grateful. It gives me gratitude to all the listeners. And it just doubles down my thought that I just want to reach out to as many people as possible, and I want to help you. And selfishly, I'm not overlooking the fact that all the help that I try to give other people, it helps me immensely. And this whole thing has immensely helped the friendship between the three of us. Steve is back on his phone.
No,
God damn it, Steve! I'm gonna punch you in the face.
I'm listening to you, dog. Because I'm telling you,
I give Steve shit because I love him.
Steve's leg of the tripod, the fastener came loose and it's falling down right now.
Yeah. Steve is a leg we can't quite. No, we can totally depend on Steve. The funny thing about Steve, and you and I were having this conversation.
Steve, I love you.
Steve has never let us down since we started this podcast.
No, Steve.
I'm always late, but worth the wait, baby.
But Steve, sometimes, dude, Steve will leave us till the fucking 11th hour in thinking Steve's going to let us down. Like, we haven't heard from Steve. We set a date.
Oh, I'm always in.
We set a date, right? We were like, hey, we're going to record on Thursday at this hour. And Steve will like, dude, hey, JB, when was the last time we talked to Steve? I don't know, like Monday? Fuck, I haven't talked to him since Sunday, dude. Do you think he's going to show up? I don't know. Let me call him. straight to voicemail. What the dude? I don't know, man. You think we should scrap it? No, dude. You know what? Steve hasn't dropped the ball yet. Let's just hang out. Let's give him another 5 minutes. And sure enough, dude, 2 minutes later, at 13 minutes past the hour,
I'm on my way.
There's a call from Steve. Hey, man, I'm on the 8, because we all know. Look, if you've been listening, you know Steve.
Sometimes people
loves
just give
the
me
8.
times, and then I confirm it in my mind, and I don't let the other people know that I've confirmed it, and that is my problem.
I can get behind that. I do that a lot.
Dude,
I'm
do
like,
too.
cool, got
Well,
it. Hey, JB, I need you here at 7, and you're like, okay, because I'm your because I'll
today,
be there.
you know, JB and I decided on 6. So I told then 6 Pacific time. You know, JB's 2 hours ahead of us. So I text Steve. I was like, Steve, man, we're gonna start at 5:45. You know, and then Steve showed up at like 6:10.
No doubt.
So I think next time I need.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, because when you text me and called me, I had totally forgotten that I had promised that,
See?
and I was like, "Oh
Dude,
shit!"
I-
gotta go
Project
record.
Reclamation
I sat down and
promise.
started recording.
I keep trying not to like, you know, I don't. I think we're a democracy. Like, I don't think we need a leadership, but like, you guys definitely need a babysitter. So like, that's kind of my job.
We do.
We're the talent.
No,
Talented.
I am not a
I mean,
leader
Steve is
in
like,
that,
Steve
in that
has
regard.
like asked me to like. He's like, man, we need a leader. Like, you're a leader. I'm like, I'm not a leader. Not of this group, dude. I'm
But
not gonna lead you.
Tim, honestly, in all of our in the collection of our job titles, you are the one that has the babysitter literally in your job
So
title.
it's funny that you say that, and I probably,
Wrangler.
I don't. Did I tell you this, or did you just come up with that on your own?
I mean, I've known this for a while.
So when I
with
when I
the
first
past couple
when I
of job
first
titles
so
that
when I
you've
was
had.
when I first went from a rep job to a manager job, my final interview was with a VP of the company that I used to work for back a long time ago, and this is, you know, she's a VP. She's, you know, powerful, very impressive woman. Like, she built her career from, you know, a clinical consultant all the way up to a VP. Impressive woman. Like, just if you have any respect for badass women, this is a woman she's
Which you should.
very impressive. You totally should, because badass women
Should have respect for everybody.
Well, just women in general, but
Oh,
especially
absolutely.
badass women.
Badass women are just so fucking cool. Go watch Hostel 2. Awesome. Anyway,
Hostel 2.
shout out to Eli Roth.
Did you say hostile too?
Yeah, dude, Hostel 2. Well, because it's, you know, the main chick is a girl, and she starts out
yeah.
she starts off as a victim, and then dude, because if you know me, you know that I love horror movies, but like 90% of them disappoint me, and then I still go watch more. However, one of my favorite kinds of horror movies are the kinds when the victim starts as a victim and then becomes empowered and like sacks up and goes and becomes
It's like a horror boomerang.
kind of, yeah. It's exactly
Love
when
it.
the victim becomes the victor. Dude, that is my favorite kind of horror movie. So you look at
It's like a horror sex change.
well, that's weird.
It's a
You
horror
said
sex
victim
change?
becomes a victor. That sounded very sex
Well, not
change to
victor,
me.
like-
I'm not trying to. I know. I'm not trying to, like, you know, cheapen
Because we've
or
said
make
before,
it
like,
fun.
are you going to be a victim or a victor?
That's true.
Why are you
Sorry,
so like?
I just
why are you
completely
so
I just completely derailed your entire.
No,
thing.
you
Keep
totally
talking.
didn't. I know exactly where I'm going. I'm just wondering, like, what your predisposition is towards like sex changes and stuff. Like, are you okay, dude? Do you have a problem?
I'm totally fine.
Okay, cool. I'm just kidding. You know that. So anyways, no.
I know.
So my favorite genre, like if you're gonna go sub genre, my favorite genre, sub genre of horror movie is when the victim ends up like becoming like fighting their inner badass and like goes and fights back, like the last house on the left, or like The Hills Have Eyes, or Hostel 2. I guess Hostel kind of works too. So yeah, there's quite a few. Or I Spit on Your Grave, phenomenal example. There's an old version and a new version, and there's I Spit on Your Grave 2, maybe 3, probably 17.
A lot of spit there for a lot of graves.
So yeah, when the victim becomes the badass, I just love it. And when it's I don't know what's, dude, I've talked about this on past episodes. I love badass females. They make me happy. Can't explain it. So totally forgot where I was going with this, but
I think you just did explain it.
yeah, but then I forgot. Like, I had an original point, and now I totally forgot what it was.
You'll have to listen back.
I'm gonna have to. Like, I don't even know where I was going with this whole thing.
Hey, Project Reclamation wants to say thank you to the listeners.
Thank you,
honestly.
listeners.
We do
I love you
appreciate
guys.
you.
We derailed
And
you. I
honestly are what
apologize.
keeps
We
us
really
going
do,
every
and I
single week.
apologize that I drink too much.
There are days where we're just like, oh, what are we going to talk about? What are we going to talk about? And honestly, Tim, the Manny, he just was like, dude, we got to put something on track.
I know what I was talking about.
There
So
it
now
is.
Steve reminded me. So this woman, she was a VP at the company I was at. She's a phenomenal woman. Very, very, very motivational. Just awesome, badass chick. So she was my final interview for this job, right? And this was my first job going from a rep to a manager. She's like, hey, Tim, like, I don't even know why we're having this conversation, because I told so-and-so to hire you like 3 months ago.
Haha.
And I was like, oh, that's great. Like, and of course I had all this stuff prepared for her and stuff and whatever. But better to be over prepared than under prepared. And then she's like, so are you ready to transition from rep to manager? And I'm like, yeah, of course. And she goes, you do realize that like being a manager means you're 50% babysitter and 50% therapist, right? And
That's
like,
100%.
Yeah.
That's 100% manager though.
And you didn't get your degree in
Babysitting
psychology.
manager.
I didn't get my degree in babysitting or psychology, but she's
Can
absolutely
you get
right.
a degree in babysitting?
No, I'm sure nowadays you probably can get your degree in babysitting. I mean,
That'd be awesome. I would go back to school and do that.
I mean, you can get a degree
if
in.
it meant
you
like
can get
not being paid.
Steve got his degree in like
$8 an hour
bisexual
working at
Asian
a
nursing
daycare.
studies.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure you get a degree.
What did you just say?
Bisexual
Say that again.
Asian nursing studies.
That's an actual degree.
No, I have no idea. I just made that up. I actually copied
Jesus.
another comic who was making fun of millennials and said something about getting degrees in bisexual Asian studies, and I just added nursing to the mix. It's cool.
Hey, I mean, you actually added more value
And you know
to
what?
that
Adding
degree
something
than
to
the
someone
than
else's
the comic did.
Adding something to someone else's stuff is really all that you need to do. I mean, by adding one
well,
word,
I mean,
I essentially
hey,
made
chefs,
it my own.
Chefs do it all the time.
Chefs and everyone else does it all the time. Everyone does that all the time.
Yeah, I'm gonna take this recipe. I'm gonna add some cumin to it,
I'm gonna add
and then
some
wait,
cumin.
it's my recipe
I'm gonna add
now.
some saffron. Actually, fuck saffron. It's too expensive. I'm gonna add some.
Cilantro.
There you go, cilantro.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add cilantro. By the way, Travis Turner. You guys both know Travis. Travis, shout out to you. I know you don't listen to this podcast, but if you ever do, I love you and fuck you at the same time. So Travis taught me when you're sick, dude, you get some chicken noodle soup.
Yep.
Right. You put it in a little pot. You put it on the stove. Cook it. You add a bunch of cilantro and a bunch of
Garlic.
and also some cayenne pepper. Boom.
Yeah.
Boom. And then you drink that. And dude, it will clear your sinuses. It will make you feel better. And
Dude,
it's like a Mexican hug for a hug.
Similar story. So I had.
cold.
I don't know if you guys ever met my old roommate Vito.
Yeah,
I
met him
know.
once.
I've met
from,
Vito a few times. He's a good dude.
Yeah, he was from Torino.
Squirrely little
Or
squirrely little
Turin,
Italian dude.
Italy.
Squirrely little Italian.
Yeah, super good dude. Probably will never listen to this podcast. I haven't talked to him in a while.
Why wouldn't Vito listen to
when
our
we lived
podcast? Fuck Vito, dude.
When we lived together, he had a terrible cold one time, and we were going out on the lake, and I was like, I gotta feel better. He's like, hey man, here, check this out. He gave me this huge nodule of garlic. It was literally the size of I'm trying to equate the size of this garlic clove, and I don't know if he told me that I should just swallow it or if I didn't hear that part, but I ended up chewing it, and it was literally
you chewed
like
a garlic clove.
it was a raw garlic clove. And I don't know if you've ever, I mean, those of you who cook can attest to the fact the pungent.
I've eaten too much garlic before, and it's the weirdest kind of spicy you've ever tasted.
Well, it's in the onion family. So when you chop up onions, it's literally
Onions make you cry. Like garlic, if you eat something with literally too much garlic, which is hard, it's hard to do because I love garlic. Don't get me wrong. But it almost chokes you, right?
Well, yeah. So I was chewing. I had a terrible cold. I felt like shit, and I was chewing on this garlic clove that was literally the size of, I don't know, like if you were to like put 2 quarters together and make spheres out. It was this huge garlic clove, and so automatically I went to the bathroom to throw up because of the pungent strength of this garlic clove. And he's like, "No, dude, you shouldn't have chewed on it. You should just swallowed it, because the antibacterial whatever nature of the garlic. It was an old homeopathic cure in Italy. You know, it's like, oh, you have a cold, all right, here. Italians obviously cook with a lot of garlic. It's just what they do.
Yeah,
I misinterpreted the the instructions. Ended up almost vomiting up everything I had in my stomach because of this, the pungentness.
because you're OD on garlic.
I felt flipping fantastic like an hour later.
Wow.
I was like, holy crap, this, like, there's something to this. It was insane though. Like, just don't chew on it. If you're going to do it, swallow it, let your body ingest it and do all this and digest it. And yeah.
So what you're saying is that not only is Project Reclamation trying to become your best friend and become your confidant, and also help you through the tough times or the great times in your life, but we're now also providing some homeopathic medical advice for your common cold.
No, abso-friggin-lutely.
You're welcome, To all of our Project Reclamation listeners, thank you so much.
Everything can be solved with Epsom salts, garlic, and
this
Windex.
here snake oil. No, but
Listerine. You know what, dude? Here's a funny thing about Listerine. Sometimes you feel that
Actually, baking soda too. Sorry.
probably when I before I get sick or if I'm about to get sick, I always get this weird tickly feeling in the back of my throat.
Yep.
Does anybody feel? Okay, you guys know what I'm talking about. I have found, and this doesn't work all the time, but it works some of the time. If you have that tickly feeling back of your throat and you just rinse the crap out of your mouth with Listerine, sometimes you don't get sick.
Wait, what's
Another
the percentage?
Thing, and JB and I think, did this back when we were in college. We called it chemotherapy. It was like, I'm feeling kind of sick. I'm gonna drink and drink and drink and drink and drink a lot of alcohol.
Oh,
and just.
I was gonna ask you, what are you guys drinking?
Because, well,
It's. I mean,
Steve,
logically, it's the same
basically,
principle.
Chemotherapy is poisoning your body to the point where hopefully you kill the bad things, but you kill a lot of parts of the good things.
It's napalm.
It is essentially napalm, dude. You're salting the earth, dude. You're burning everything. So that's what we used to call it. We used to call it chemotherapy back in college. And I apologize. We were not trying to make fun of any of you who have made it through cancer therapy because I mean that's a real thing. And this is
we're not being insensitive.
No, we're not being
this is just completely.
But it's an analogy,
levity.
and that's it. Don't take it too personally, and I apologize. But we do support anybody who's trying to make it through something like that. Absolutely,
It is a logical description, though. I
agree. I agree. So yeah, that's what we used to call it, and it would be like where you don't feel good. You're like, oh, I'm starting to get sick. I better just drink, and then drink, and then drink some more. And you know what? I would say 4 out of 5 times it didn't work, but 1 out of 5 times it did. And somehow we thought that was a success rate because we were stupid. But hey, we were in our 20s. What can I tell you? Don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean,
So-
that's college. That's
But you know what,
we're
though?
still learning
When
at
it
that point.
didn't
Would you
work the
feel
first
worse than the 4 out of the 5 times?
Oh, 4 out of 5 times you felt worse.
yeah, because I think you're depleting yourself of like natural vitamins
Absolutely.
and like
and
things that you would
let's,
need.
Let's face it, dude. A big thing about flushing things out, which is part of getting better, has to do with hydration. And when you're drinking, you're
dehydrating
Yeah,
yourself.
exactly. You're dehydrating. So, dude, like I said, but also we were in our 20s, so our bodies
that's true.
functioned at peak capacity. So yeah, now like back then, maybe it was 1 out of 5 times we failed. Or, I'm sorry, 1 out of 5 times was a success. Now I'm sure it'll be like 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 20, like because we're in our 30s, and
Well, I'm willing to try that though. I'm just kidding.
So
I hope I don't get sick 10 times to actually try that. That would suck.
yeah, dude, I don't know. Lately I've been pretty good, and I think that had a lot to do with when I was a kid. My parents treated me like a kid, and treated me like a kid back in the early '80s. Maybe even
Yeah, where you went out and
It's
go put soil
use your
all over your
imagination. Go
hands
play in
and-
the dirt. Go play in the dirty creek. Go get dirty. Go get
weren't using
as
hand
many
disinfectant all the
pathogens
time?
as possible on your body and in your body, and then you will build up resistances to said pathogens.
Yeah.
Now it's like we use hand sanitizer for everything, and my kid never goes outside. And
I just don't want them to go outside because I don't think it's good for their health.
resistant organisms. That kid's gonna get sick from like the first stupid organism that comes into contact with.
I don't know when that came about. Like when people became so guarded. Like obviously I get the kids.
Yeah,
are so
well,
sick,
it's like it's a fear based.
Well, it's funny because like
It's totally fear-based.
I hear people who are parents and not parents talking about kids being germ factories, which they totally are. Like kids will make you sick as fuck. Like if you're a swim instructor for little kids, or you're a teacher or anything like that, like you have stories about getting sick all the time. My mom, who probably has a great immune system, like she will be sick, like she'll get sick like 4 times in a row. But the thing that I think, and I've always joked about, but I think has some serious merit, is that when we were kids, we had to use our imaginations. Like, I mean, yeah, sure, there was like Nintendo and shit came out like sometime when we were kids, and JB and I played that sometimes, but we also went out and just like used our imagination and played in the dirt. And
we walked around.
Or we borrowed. We stole my dad's like hacksaws and like a pickaxe, and like we hiked up the creek and played. Who the fuck knows what we were doing? But then we got shot. We got shot at with salt pellets from that crazy farmer dude that was up the creek from us.
Yeah, that's true.
What?
Very true. Yeah, there was a crazy farmer dude that lived up the creek from us, and
he like actually lives in the creek, or he's a farmer.
No.
And
Like
his
he had a farm.
happened to be.
Yeah, he was like literally Swamp
that
Thing.
The creek went through his property if you hiked up the creek far enough, and he had a shotgun that had salt pellets, and he would fucking shoot at us with salt pellets when we went up. So
it was a salt rifle.
Yeah, it was was this.
Bingo.
Can't you just use salt pellets with like a normal rifle?
No. It was a shotgun.
Yeah, well, but I mean, it was like it was just a regular shotgun. It was like special like salt
I
pellets.
know. I was making a joke being a salt rifle.
You're more gun literate than I am, bro. So I was just asking.
I know, and I was making a stupid joke.
It was probably just like
a
a regular fucking 20 gauge rifle, right? Or normal 20 gauge shotgun, right?
No, it's probably 12 gauge. To be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, and he was like, "Get off my lawn!" Bang, bang, bang. So yeah. But dude, JB and I got dirty all the time, and that's why I think we have.
Well, but there's something interesting to be taken from that, because like Steve asked, like, when did that change? I mean, being a parent right now, like, so for instance, we take my son to daycare 5 days a week typically, and they had an quote unquote outbreak of hand, foot, and mouth. Which is it's not fatal, but it's very uncomfortable.
School,
you get like sores on your hands, feet, and mouth, and there's a fever and stuff like that. And luckily, my son's class
disease, when you just literally like, I'm not even literally, I'm sorry, metaphorically, when you're
licking horse and cow's feet
in your mouth.
No, that's foot.
Yeah, well, which I have on a daily basis, so. My point being is that there was a couple of kids that went home with a threat of it, and I had today off, so I took Jake and kept him home today, just to kind of keep the possibility of that spreading. Again, it's not fatal, but if he were to get it, it would have been another 3 or 4 days of taking him, putting him on antibiotics, all that yada 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 yada. Like, is that something that our parents would have done, or I don't know.
What?
It's a question I'm asking.
I've heard stories of people like when chickenpox was out. Like there was like a chickenpox outbreak.
I mean, that was a big one too.
And there was parents who kept their kids home, and there was other parents who wanted their kids to go to school to get chickenpox.
Yeah,
so that they would get it.
Well, and that's the thing too. Exactly. Well, and chickenpox is one of those things that if you get it and you survive it, you'll never get it again.
And then also you don't get shingles, because if you get chickenpox later in life, it often turns to shingles. It can
be very
and my
bad.
dad was one of those people who actually he hadn't gotten chickenpox as a kid. So,
my dad was the same way.
Shit, dude. So my dad actually got chickenpox from probably me and my sister. Yeah. And I don't think he ended up getting shingles, but I'm not sure. But I know my old boss's wife got shingles, and that shit. You get over it, but then it continues to fuck with you for the rest of your life.
Oh no, my dad got shingles probably in his mid to late 50s.
Yeah,
and that's horrible.
And dude, he got it. It manifested itself from a root canal somehow.
Fuck that. Dude.
And you guys know my dad. He's the fucking Marlboro man. He was the Marlboro man. Nothing could hurt him. He was down and out. It was like literally crisis of faith. Like, holy crap, Dad, are you okay? Like, jeez. Wow. Like something could. Dude,
I refuse to believe you that Clark was put down by something, because I think the only thing that could put Clark down would be like a puma.
His convalescence was done in my room because my stepmom wanted, and was like, I don't know what that was all about, but he ended up like being in my room. And it was just like, whoa, like, are you okay? Like, wow. But to see somebody who, like, you thought of as this marble statue of a human being.
Well, and even if you still believe
to have something like
statue,
that take them down, like, it blew my mind. Just to get basically giving the shingles virus that much due.
Dude, the shingles virus is fucked up.
Fucks you up.
I mean, Steve has it right now.
Yep.
He's about to go into a.
I have shingles on my roof.
Shingles.
It's crazy.
It's a shingles virus.
Seizures are weird.
Seizure
like
Malone.
Jax had a few seizures when he was a baby, and I asked the doctor. I said, "Well, how do I know if it's a seizure?" Because Jax also likes to have weird dreams, and he swims or runs in his dreams. I'm like, "Well, how do I know what the difference is?" And they're like, "Well, if you yell at him and he wakes up, then it's not a seizure." He's 6 now. He's probably never had that in 4.5 years. No, he doesn't wake up. He just stops swimming or paddling or whatever they call it. Jax, what's up, buddy?
There he is on cue.
He
has showed up.
Hi, doggy.
Why are you hesitant to come to me?
He probably ate something.
I've never hit you in your entire life of 6 years. Why would you think I'd hit you now?
Oh,
because you're like sleek and thin and
Yeah.
authoritative
He doesn't
now.
even recognize me. He's like, I don't know who the fuck you are.
Actually, I'll
I live
call
with-
Tim.
Who the fuck
I live
are
with this
you,
fat
dude?
guy for my whole life, and you're just not kind of.
Yeah, you're like
You're
half
kinda
of
like,
that
you're kinda
dude. Where did
chubby,
the other
but not
half
really
of that
fat.
dude go?
I don't really know what to think about you.
The Tim Reaper.
You kind of smell like this guy that I used to know, but he was really fat. So clearly, you're not him.
But you know what? You do have a large selection of colognes.
And you have a large selection of colognes, and you have treats, and that's all they really care about. So, I mean, I'll be
Yeah.
honest, Tim. I would let someone rob the fuck out of your house if they just gave me some of the treats that you have in that little jar over there. So, yeah, I don't know. Brad from Sofa King, he doesn't like baby back. Oh, sorry, he does like baby back ribs. He doesn't
Good.
like beef ribs. Because they're too big. Not enough meat.
No, beef ribs.
Beef ribs are so much
there's
work.
a,
man.
Two different-
Baby
two
back
different
ribs are
styles.
so much
Here's
more
the
awesome.
thing. If they're prepared correctly, they could be good. But like majority of the time, they're just tough and not prepared
Now, if
correctly.
you get them from,
so I can get behind that.
From Phil's Barbecue.
Phil's Barbecue,
ones,
though.
and they're amazing because
Phil's Barbecue is amazing.
Is just amazing in general, and you know they're good from Phil's Barbecue, and you're going to Phil's Barbecue again, and you get them again, then I don't blame you.
I will tell you this, that like I have had those St. Louis style baby back, and they're very good. Trust me, everything's very, very good. But then when you go to Phil's Barbecue, holy crap, they do beef ribs there, and they do them
Is
very
Phil's
well.
Barbecue? Is that in
Point
in
Loma.
San Diego?
Yeah, it's by the old
Point Loma.
It's by the whatchamacallit, the Valley View Casino Center.
Okay, so I'll be out in San Diego in late July. I want to hit up that ramen house that Steve and I hit up a long time ago.
Yeah, Rocky.
Oh,
So good, right?
dude,
So good.
so good. We need to do like a full-on food tour. in
full-on
2 days of San Diego.
I will tell you this, man. I don't steer you wrong. And there's also this fish taco place. What is it?
Say no more.
Herman Bayer.
I'm already in.
Los Mariscos Herman Bayer. Woo!
I'm really kind of bummed that Dakines isn't there anymore in OB or PB.
Don't know that one.
The Hawaiian food place.
Oh,
where they
dude, I'll
do,
take
like,
you up to my
2
bro
lumps of
Lawrence's
rice.
place, bro. He's got a place called
And then,
Homestyle Hawaiian. Very, very good.
Okay, perfect.
You're gonna get this Korean
that's
chicken,
That's where we're
and
having
then I'll get the
breakfast.
Kailua
And then we're
pig.
gonna have ramen, and then we're gonna have fish tacos one day. Yeah, it's gonna be like on point.
I will take you to Homestyle Hawaiian, and we will have a Hawaiian.
Where's Homestyle Hawaiian?
Well, there's a great location in Tierra Santa, but
Okay.
my boy Lawrence, who I used to work with at Scripps, he is running it in the off of Turquoise Street.
There's a Hawaiian place
in
right
Pacific
by where
Beach.
Shannon lives. Shannon
It's-
moved
yeah,
out.
It's
for those
probably
of-
Homestyle Hawaiian.
Hawaiian food is delicious, dude.
Yeah, don't I know?
Okay, so I've been to a couple of different Hawaiian food places. One next to the El Rey Theater in LA, and the quote unquote like teriyaki beef. It's like big. It's like basically like rehydrated beef jerky, like big chunks like that. So Dakines was like,
Dude,
it was like shredded.
Dakines
It was
is
like
the
like
shit, man. I love that place.
no, it was so good. But like the teriyaki beef was like, it was like it was like hash,
Dude,
like
amazing.
like corn, like beef hash kind of stuff. It was so good. Like there was at no point did you ever run into a piece of meat that you felt
I'll
like
be
had
honest.
tendon.
Even
or
L&L,
anything. It was
which
just
is a
so
chain.
tender. It was so
I
good.
think L&L exists everywhere. You will find the beef is amazing.
Say that again. I didn't hear what you
Sorry,
said.
L&L Hawaiian Barbecue. Total chain.
Okay.
It's everywhere. Dude, they do not get that shit wrong. Like, their shit is legit.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I felt like there was a vacuum in my mind because Dakines was like my place to go.
Dakines,
They did-
are you talking about
they did the two
is
lumps of
Dakines-
rice? They did
hold
that.
on, is Dakines a chain or does that exist?
I don't think so. No, this
You're
was
talking
just
about
this was
Dakines
just in San Diego.
Okay, yeah. Dakines
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
shit.
Like
And-
I had literally not had good Hawaiian food since I left
Well,
San Diego.
here's what you have to-
in like 2002.
Here's what you have to understand, dude. Hawaiian, there's a huge Hawaiian population in San Diego, especially in North County.
Well, yeah,
San
no,
Diego.
I get that.
So, yeah, you're going to get and Dakines is the shit. And that's out in Pacific Beach.
Oh, so good.
It's amazing. We used to go there. Dude, hungover. Oh, my God. Hawaiian
And
food when you're hungover is amazing.
Yeah,
Oh,
the pasta salad was like.
there's a place right by Shannon's place. Do you know the place? Do you know what's
It's
called?
probably Homestyle Hawaiian.
Yeah. mhm.
Yeah, it's definitely Homestyle Hawaiian. It's a great place. Jables, just get your belly ready. I need you to start
Dude,
starving yourself
My
now.
belly is ready. I'm super stoked.
So there's
to,
3 locations of Homestyle Hawaiian.
There's 4.
Ooh.
The newest one is the one in Pacific Beach off of Turquoise.
So they have one. The one that I'm talking about is on 7-5. So if you're in San Diego and you want delicious Hawaiian food, 7524 Mesa College Drive, San Diego. Although, if you're in San Diego as a tourist, I would go to the Pacific Beach one.
I go to the Tierra Santa one. Well, sorry, the Tierra Santa one is more of like a community
Tierra Santa,
neighborhood.
is that the first one?
Kind of out of the way.
Was that the first one?
No, the first one's the one that's at the
By Shannon's
Sharp
place?
Hospital. Yeah.
Okay, so this is the first one, so it's probably the best one. But I'll be honest, if you're looking for some San Diego goodness, it's
Pacific Beach,
just at the road, dude.
And you say hi to my buddy Lawrence that's in there.
You say hi to Steve's buddy Lawrence, and you go to 7. Wait, no, hold on. I gotta find.
Lawrence is doing a great job. He's killing it, killing the game.
Point Loma. Oh, Point Loma's probably
Proud of you, Lawrence.
So go to the one. Here's the one that you want to go to. If you're looking for a little bit of beachy San Diego, and you're looking for delicious Hawaiian food that is centric to San Diego,
okay,
go to 747 Turquoise Street, San Diego, California 92109.
And then say hi to my buddy Lawrence in there.
Say hi to Steve's buddy Lawrence.
Steven from Project Reclamation.
Tell him that Steve from Project Reclamation sent you.
Buongiorno.
Now also say that, hey, I've been using mane and tail in my hair thanks to Stephen Chang. And I think it's a little bit weird. I used to like Tim until I found out that he brushes Steve's hair during episodes because that's kind of weird. But hey, it is what it is.
I don't use mane and tail.
Steve, you know what?
I could.
Here's a good segue.
Steve, the first rule
we
of
have
improv.
You know what?
Yes,
we started a topic
right.
and then we totally veered away from it. So I'm going to go back to this topic. Steve, I believe that you have used a lot of persistence in the care of your hair.
In your hair
so
products.
I would like you to tell us
You've
a little bit of story.
You've gone
what
from product to
have
product.
you gone from product to product, or has there been
way.
just one product that you just nailed it right up front and you just kept using it? I mean, either way is persistence.
The one product that I absolutely love to use.
Semen?
Yeah. Is Stevens? Is that what you said? Siemens, the sewing brand?
Whale semen.
Steven the sewing maker? Oh, I guess I could use them more appropriately. No, is Moco de Gorilla, a.k.a. Gorilla Snot Gel. It's the strongest gel. The purple one is, at least. The strongest gel on the market. Sorry, crew. You're a little too expensive. I got to be honest with you. I like your product. It's just a little too much. That price point is a little too high. I can't afford to look like that.
Axe messy look.
That's
dude.
the look?
Go for it. Boom, you're welcome.
Wow. I'm going to go try that.
It's still expensive, too. It's like $9 a tin.
If you had $2.75 at your local Walmart, or even $2.49 at your local Walmart, and you wanted to go buy some sweet gel that lasted all day because you wanted to go estilo punk or whatever else they have, you might want to go ahead and grab your Gorilla Snot Gel. It literally has a gorilla, and it's shaped like a bunch of snot. Like, well, at least like the carton is, the little can is.
Well, especially too if you have unruly hair and some moisture down your crotchal region, you could do Gorilla Snot Gel and then anti-monkey butt powder.
Oh, I was like,
both available.
That's the one,
both
bro.
Available at Walmart.
I haven't even used it yet.
Oh, look at this, dude. Tim literally broke into his stuff in the little thing, and he reached out for Moco de Gorilla Galan. Which I don't know what galan means. That means shiny, probably.
Wait, what?
Extra brilliant.
I'm totally lost here.
No, Tim actually reached into his bathroom and he pulled out some of this Gorilla Snot.
So this is similar.
He has it.
This is similar to Crew. This is what I used to use.
Floyd's Grooming Grip Cream.
This is the stuff that I started using like a day or two before the one podcast where you told me that my hair looked amazing.
Where did you get this stuff from?
I have no idea.
Well, how am I supposed to use it then if you never even...
Dude, it's Cremo. Cremo's the...
Cremo.
It's everywhere.
Premium Baba grade.
Cremo, here's the thing. Dude, Cremo is the brand I use for my beard butter.
Oh, okay.
It's like...
Beard Butter. That's a great band name, by the way.
It really is, man. So this it's a little waxy. It's kind of a mix between fiber and like a pomade.
It's definitely.
But here's
a
the
little
thing, man.
waxy.
When you're looking, man or woman, when you're looking for a hairstyle or a hair product that is the best for your hair, I think it just requires persistence.
Yeah.
I mean, you just have to.
It does.
You have to keep trying because
it's try. Hey, honestly, persistence equals trial and error. Yeah. That's literally what persistence means.
Okay, so in our failure episode, Steve talked a lot about a word that starts with an R. Who can tell it to me?
Reclamation as a Project Reclamation.
Resilience.
So, and it's not that I forgot it. I was just trying to make it dramatic.
I know
so,
you were baiting us, and
Steve talked about resilience.
I'm good at fucking Jeopardy.
I think persistence is all about resilience. And if you use it,
It's pretty much the same word, bro.
It's a synonym.
I feel like
Persistence.
you need resilience.
Persistence requires resilience.
Absolutely. You have resilience is the predicate. Resilience is the mother of persistence.
Whoa. Yeah, easy on the big words there,
I
friend.
just said resilience is the mother of persistance.
Yeah, but you were about to say predicate.
But I didn't. I veered.
I know. Well, you
No,
did,
dude,
but
it's
it's all
kind of
good.
like I was going towards. I was about to veer right, and then I just went straight. Boom. Bah. So
No, you're good. Keep going.
I don't know, dude. So all I'm saying is, resilience is the mother of persistence, or resilience is the.
Here's the
sister
thing.
of
So if you listen
you
to the last
need
episode
resilience
about
to
failure,
have persistence, because if you don't, you're just going to be. You could be persistent, but you're just going to be a defeated persistent, and nobody wants a defeated.
it's honestly this is a really good succession of topics, because we talked about failure, and we talked about failure being not an ending but a beginning.
You know what? I think you're dead on here, dude. Because I think that you and I were talking about. We're like, dude, we like the whole failure episode was about persistence, and now we're going to do a persistence. How the hell are we going to do that? And I think we have veered away from persistence enough on this episode. But I think you're onto something, and let me tell you why. Because I think that persistence. God damn it! I had it, and now I've lost it. Persistence.
I know. It's 'cause you
to have
interrupted me.
persistence.
I'm just
I didn't.
kidding.
I interrupted you, and then God punished me by making me forget what I was talking about.
It's okay. It's all good. What I was saying is that failure, like I said, and I just said this like 2 minutes ago or a minute ago.
Beginning, not the end.
Failure isn't the ending. It's the beginning. So at that point, that's when persistence fits into this equation. Is that you've tried something, you've quote unquote failed. I don't like to use that as an end all be all. The next hump in that waveform is your persistence. It's okay. I've tried it. I failed. I'm going to try again.
Who ruined failure?
The trying again is the persistence.
You know who ruined failure, though?
And as long as you do that once, you can do it again.
Absolutely.
Say that again. Sorry. What's
no,
up?
No, but so you need persistence to come out of a failure and turn a failure into success. Because every failure is a potential success. Let's be honest. Like JB said, failure is not the end. Failure is the beginning. So you got to use that resiliency. Every time there's a failure, use that resiliency. Boom. Tap into it. Channel your chi, and then come out of it. And you have to have that persistence.
Hey, y'all.
Every time you fail, it's an opportunity to succeed.
I love it.
And that's how you have to look at it. But you gotta have this. You gotta have the resiliency first of all, because if you don't, then you can't come back from it once. But then you have to have persistence, because you look at. I mean, I would say the Colonel Sanders story is probably the most literal story about persistence, because it was like he went to over 100 sales pitches before he finally sold his chicken recipe. So that's 103 people that told him, no, this is not going to work. And whether they taste it or not, doesn't matter. But, I mean, that's just boom, boom, boom. Like literally the same sales pitch with the same product over and over and over and over again. And I told you guys about my thing, like my very first sales job. You know, I didn't know how sales worked. I'm like it was literally turn and burn. So it's like you go cold call, go knock on these doors, walk inside, give them the same bullshit pitch. And I'm like, well, what's the program we're selling? Oh, the program we're selling is just to get them to show you their invoices. And then we give them a quote unquote, air fingers quote, customized program, which basically means we beat whatever the prices they have by 10 to 15%.
We beat them.
And that was the program. And I was so confused. I'm like, well, that's not a fucking program. That's a math equation. Like, what? Huh? Well, no, we call it a program, so they think that they're on a customized program. Well, that sounds like a lie. Oh, yeah, that's sales. Welcome to sales. Anyways, now, medical sales is a lot different. I mean, we have to have, it's very much different. You can't, there's a lot of bullshit in a lot of B2B sales. There's a lot less bullshit in medical sales because there's certain laws and such that, but the bottom line is I would never, ever, ever, ever screw over a hospital, a doctor, or a patient, especially a patient, because that's just,
why would you do that to them? They're their most needy part. You know what I mean?
Well, and at the end of the day, what I do, I like what I do for the most part because I can help patients. And if I ever veer away from that, then fuck, I'm in the wrong goddamn job and I need to go fucking change jobs.
And then some people are like, if you weren't a patient ever in your whole life, you'll be a patient at some point in your life.
Yeah, and you know what? I've told you guys about how, whatever, my religious beliefs, but even all that aside, if I was a goddamn atheist or an agnostic, there's still a karma out there somewhere that I may or may not believe in, but me personally, I do. So yeah, and that's not why I care about patients. I care about patients because that makes my job fulfilling. Like, yeah, I like the money. I make good money. I can't lie. However, the fact that I can make good money and help people and help patients and help people, I guess. I mean, that's what it comes down to. And I've said this before, like why I'm a manager, even though I would rather be a sales rep, is because I have that much more influence to help more in the long run, the grand equation. I can help more patients. I can help more institutions or doctors' offices, whatever, save money and have better products. And ultimately, I can have more influence on the world in general. And that sounds, I don't know, it sounds weird, but it is what it is. And that's why I have made the decision that even though I'd rather, I'm probably happier being a rep and just having my own control over my own situation, living my own life and fuck everybody else, but whatever. But, dude, in my newfound life where I like to have the biggest positive effect on the world as I possibly can, I would be being too selfish to go back to being a rep and not being a manager when I clearly have an impact as a manager on multiple people who do the same job I would be doing as a rep to have a better influence overall. So I can increase 10 or 15 people, and that's a bigger influence in general as me being just me. The greater good. That's what it's all about, Steven.
Fair enough.
The greater good.
Fair enough. A lot of stuff, a lot of heavy stuff here.
So, Steve, tell us a story about persistence.
There's a lot of people I see that I don't know, that find themselves like meeting me in probably the worst of times, and I get that. And I'm not even talking about the patients sometimes. I'm talking about, heck, the people that work there.
Steve's talking about Tim and JB.
I know, I'm talking about Tim and JB right now. But one of the most beautiful things I see is that people just don't want to ever give up sometimes. And it's not a matter of like giving up, and it's not a matter about like, we're working on this guy or something like that, and he just keeps on coming back and keeps on coming back. It's not about that. It's about the fact that like you just see people, like you see families kind of come in, and you see loved ones come in, and they don't want them to give up either, right? And so you're like, okay, and so you fight harder for that. So one of the things I want to tell you is that whatever you're going through too, like, I don't know, maybe you're having a tough time, a tough go at your job, or you're maybe having a tough go just with life. Maybe your own family is giving you a hard time, or maybe your own health is kind of kicking out and it's giving you a hard time. Just keep it going, because one of the biggest things in the world that I see is that sometimes it's not just about the person that I'm helping, about the person I'm working on, or about the case that I have. It's just not about that. But when you see everyone involved and how they're kind of pushing them, they're willing it to happen, they want it to happen, and they support, and they're doing everything they can to make sure that that person can make it happen. That's what persistence gives, because if they see you're fighting, the people that are supporting you, the people that are standing by you, the people that want to be part of your life and want to be part of your system, well, they're rooting for you too, and that gives them kind of purpose and meaning to why they can just keep on rooting, keep on trying, keep on supporting, keep on giving you all their effort and all their energy and all their love. And so just because you don't think, I'm having a tough time and I need to give up or I'm struggling, well, you can do that if you want to, but think about all the people. Sometimes maybe you just kind of be conscientious about all the people that in your life that are rooting for you on the side, and that are wishing you, wanting you well, and doing whatever they can do to make sure that you succeed too. That's kind of huge. So don't ever forget about your side supports or all the people that are kind of rooting you on. You can't ever do anything alone. I'm sorry to let you know. This just in. You never do anything really alone, okay? But that also means that sometimes you never walk alone either.
Hell no, you don't.
And on the bonus episode that you may or may not have heard, because I may or may not have released it yet, but JB and I talk about, Steve was sleeping because Steve is.
Big boy needs his rest. I got a lot of stuff going on.
He does. Steve's got a lot going on, and I'll be honest, dude. I'm proud of Steve because he's doing the school thing plus the work thing.
You're doing a hell of a lot more than I am.
Absolutely.
That's bullshit. You're doing the best job in the world, Jables.
And honestly, at the end of the day, I'm doing the least. And
bullshit, Tim. You're going to be a good dad to 3 kids and stuff like that.
We're all doing a lot.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is, dude, you have your family plus your job. Steve has 20 hours of school plus a little bit more plus a full-time job. I have a full-time job. That's it.
No, bro.
Don't get me wrong. I have an amazing, loving girlfriend who I absolutely spend as much time as I possibly can to, do that and stuff because she's amazing. Love her. But
wow, already the L's?
Dude, this is different than any other relationship I've ever been with, Steve.
I'm impressed.
The L's already, the G
this
word
just
already,
in.
the Facebook status change already.
Saw that.
And
I saw
none of that.
Utah is changing your life.
Utah's changed my mind. I mean, Utah's changed everything.
Man, I love Karl Malone and John Stockton.
We are so happy
Utah
to
came
see,
around
by
at
the
a
way.
moment.
BT Dubs.
JB, I sent you some pictures of us wearing ridiculous crab
and she's
bibs.
beautiful, and you look so happy.
But
and
here's the
that's
thing:
all we
I
care
look
about.
so happy. I look happier than I've looked in a long time. But
And
does
also
she
thinner.
not look
And
equally
also
as
thinner.
happy?
She does.
Exactly.
No,
Steve,
I don't know
so
her, but
you haven't met her.
that's
Steve
why
met her.
my-
You know?
yeah.
And
did
here's
meet
the
her.
thing: I was like, hey, you know what? So she comes over. We're about to go to dinner, and then I wanted to take to this really cool spot in San Diego.
No
It's this
doubt.
little- how would you explain it? Like a mountain? It's not really a mountain. It's more of a hill. No, it's like a big. It's like
We're
a
not
mountain.
talking about Denny's?
No, Mount Soledad.
Oh, just
So there's this area in San Diego called Mount Soledad. It's just cool. You could drive fucking.
You say
Denny's?
Denny's?
Denny's? I don't know.
She likes crab. Crab is her favorite food, so I took her to crab.
Oh, I meant that's
I'm
what
like,
I
thank
meant.
God you don't like lobster because crab is actually delicious. It's a pain in the ass to eat. Don't get me wrong, but it's
It's like the cat of food. You have to earn
really
its
do.
respect.
No, but
And
when you
it's
go to
just-
like
to
Chinese
me,
food restaurants, they
it's
crack it all up for
really
you,
worth
and all you
it.
have to do is just
But
peel it out.
That's okay. Like it can be. It's just for if I'm going again, dude. You guys know I've completely lost respect for food. I mean, or maybe I've gained respect for food. It's more like fuel to me.
You've just changed. You've reparadigmed your sense.
Right,
of
which
food.
is exactly what I needed to do.
Yeah,
I'm not saying
exactly.
every one of you needs to do that at all. There's a lot of things I have done that I would suggest all of you do. That's not one of them. However, so before we even left, I was like, hey, you know what? Steve has been dying to meet you. Would you mind swinging by? She's like, dude, of course. She's like, I want to meet all the people in your life. I'm like, this girl's amazing. Utah, you're the shit. So, I forgot where I was going with this, but as per usual.
That's right.
So-
you know what? It doesn't
But
matter.
you know what, though? I will not stop this episode because I will persist to keep it going on. Coleman, I'm sorry that we keep screwing up this episode, but I think the bottom line is if we end this episode anywhere near where we tried to, then we have persisted.
We wouldn't have been
The
persistent.
analogy
in our,
that I can,
in our,
the best analogy I can come up with, and I forget where I found this. I think it applies. So JB and Steve, you can be the judges of this. But basically,
Go on.
Any plane that's about to take off and fly, let's say to Hawaii from San Diego. Let's say that you draw a line from literally. Let's say we have a map, and there's like the dot in San Diego to the dot in like Honolulu, and that's your straight line. 90 to 95% of the time, the plane is not on that straight line. The plane is pointing in to the right or to the left just because of wind or whatever it may be. So the pilot or the autopilot or whatever is controlling the plane is constantly adjusting the direction of the plane. But because of the persistence to keep that plane on track, the plane lands exactly where it's supposed to. So despite the fact that that plane is off track 90% of the time, possibly more, the plane still ends up back on track and lands where it's supposed to land.
If you've ever landed into Chicago,
I think Dallas might be even worse.
You have no. Chicago is take my word. Off of the Great Lakes, there's a crazy wind shear. If you've ever landed into Chicago, it's not Midway, but what's the other one?
O'Hare, yeah. Midway's actually
You've
not that bad.
experienced persistence in a form that we're talking about. It's called crabbing, and it's very persistent. It has to be because if it weren't, you would land in the terminal.
So obviously a very interesting, weird sort of example, but still persistence nonetheless.
There's a bunch of different,
So many different,
practical, non-practical, logical, non-logical ways to describe
Absolutely.
persistence, and I think we've pretty much hit.
And I
all
think
of
I
them.
can. I mentioned this. I mentioned
In a
this
small
last,
way, shape, or
last
form?
week in the failure episode. But go look up Colonel Sanders and his path to success with his chicken recipe.
Thomas Edison, anybody that's
He's a
Steve
fucking
Jobs, anybody that's
Dude,
actually
Steve Jobs. I mean, look at what's his name? Schultz. Is it Steven Schultz? Who's the Starbucks guy? It's
sure.
something Schultz.
I have no
Anyways,
idea.
I can't remember what his first name is. Regardless, so he went and worked for this company called Starbucks, right? And he was mid to high mid level managerial position, whatever. He ended up getting fired or quit. Can't remember. There's this whole story, and I recommend you go look at it because we're not doing an episode on Steven Schultz or Jerry Schultz or Justin, whatever his name is. So he ended up getting canned, or he left. So he went over to Europe and observed a lot of the European style kind of coffee houses or coffee shops. And he's like, we don't really have anything like this in the States. And especially on the West Coast where I'm pretty sure he was probably, I'm going to go ahead and guess he was based in Seattle. So he ended up getting hooked up with one of them, being fairly successful. He ended up coming back, and I don't know if he ended up being with a company that bought Starbucks or if he ended up coming back to Starbucks. I don't remember, and this episode is not about him, so I'm not going to look it up. But I recommend you do if you're interested in the story, because it's a very interesting story. So he went and ended up coming back to Starbucks as the CEO. And he's the one who changed the way that Starbucks does business. And he's the one who is responsible for Starbucks being on every fucking corner. And there's even some intersections where you can look and there's Starbucks on 2 of 4 corners. And it's crazy, but hey, it still works. So, he went and observed and found a lot of things that were opportunities for said company that he had left or been canned from, and was able to get back there and bring those changes to them. And now Starbucks is literally in every mall, on every corner, in every street, and
sometimes 2 on every block in New York City.
Absolutely. I mean,
thank you, Manhattan.
Even in San Diego, which isn't
it's
even
insane.
in San Diego, which isn't every city. There's literally multiple,
2 on every block in the slamp.
Absolutely, 2 in every. And there's intersections where literally there's a Starbucks across the street from a Starbucks, and they both have lines. It's crazy. But I mean, that's a story of persistence. Stephen Schultz could have just quit. I'm going to go ahead and assume his name is Steven. I should probably look it up, but whatever.
Mr. Schultz.
He could have quit, but
insert first
CEO Schultz.
He could have quit and not done what he did, but he didn't. He remained persistent. Go look up Michael Jordan. He has had plenty of failures, including ones that could be debilitating. I mean, your high school coach telling you that you suck and that you'll never be good at basketball. Einstein, and I mentioned this last episode, he had a grade school teacher who told his mom he was mentally retarded. And that could crush a kid. I mean, JB, dude, you were just saying that...
It's Howard Schultz, by the way.
Howard Schultz. God.
Stevens' brother. Oh, he must have done.
And he was the CEO until last year. I'm just going to leave that
Whatever,
there.
Dude.
Move on.
You know what? The article I read was probably a year ago, so that's fine.
No. I wasn't trying to prove you wrong.
And you know what?
I
It's
just
like
Googled
Disney,
it
dude.
while you were talking. I
I'm sure
apologize.
Starbucks will now go downhill, just like Disney and Apple. Sorry.
Hell yeah.
Dude,
for sure.
Well, I mean, to be perfectly honest, when there's certain organizations, I will say Google, for example, because I don't even know who started Google. I don't know who the CEO of Google is.
Mr. Google.
It doesn't matter, because what I'm saying is I think Google...
No, it's like Sergey and what's his name, right?
Oh, sorry. We're messing it up.
What I'm saying is Google is a company...
Sorry.
What I'm saying is Google is a company that injects their culture into every level of their company. So Google is going to be Google.
Dude, they spread their seed.
Google is going to be Google no matter who runs it, no matter what happens to CEO. There's companies like Apple where this company is Steve Jobs. There's companies like Starbucks where I feel like since before they were popular, like Howard Schultz was Starbucks. Like there's certain companies that are their leaders, and there's certain companies where their leaders are just one of the people. And
seriously, CEOs come in and blow their load all over America.
well, I mean, dude, Steve Jobs is a notorious asshole, but you know what? He injected a culture that has kept them solvent up until now. Now you can see the trajectory slowing down ever since Steve Jobs died.
Oh, we are on the other side of the parabola.
You're absolutely
for sure.
on the other side of the parabola, and I mean, dude, even look at I would say Disney, but I'd be wrong because I thought
But look at Microsoft though. Like, who the fuck uses Microsoft Word anymore?
I do. What else?
I know,
would you
but
use?
like, who buys a PC? You do.
What? The majority of people do, bro.
There's a bunch of holes poked in my
There's
logic.
more
right
people
now.
buy
I get it.
PCs than Apples. I'm sorry. Like, that's just how it is.
Yeah, spoken from a Mac
Well, and
user.
you're spoken from a Mac user who's using a product.
It was a
who's using a product by a company
point.
who was the first company that you identified as a company that was falling downhill.
Boy, ain't
So
gonna
what-
have this
like,
computer talk with you now.
Way to poke holes in your own logic, bro. So what you're saying is our two
Well,
options.
you know what? I'm not
What you're saying is our two
opposed
options
to-
for computers are Microsoft and Apple, both companies.
It's
the
binary,
two companies that
for
JB
sure.
are the first ones that JB identified as companies that are going downhill. So what you're saying is if we use computers, we're fucked.
Technology.
But you know what,
it's
JB?
going
We will
downhill. We're going back to our analog days, man.
But
I
you know
like
what,
it,
though?
though.
We will persist because that's what it takes. is
Hey, we're
persistence.
gonna go from streaming back to DVD, back to
Back to
VHS.
VHS.
There's gonna be a brief
Betamax?
stint of beta,
Yeah, brief Betamax.
and then it's gonna be on two reel tape, and then we're just gonna go back to fucking spoken word stories like the American
Would that be
Indians.
so bad?
No, and then we're gonna paint shit on caves.
that be so bad?
And no, it'd be great.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, like 50 years from now, we walk through all these McMansions, and there's all these pictures drawn on the drywall that's like crumbling.
Wouldn't
And
surprise me, dude.
dude, again, another good band name.
It is a
Lung
great band
Butter.
name. What was the other one? Beard Butter? I'm just gonna.
Oh yeah, beard butter. Anything with butter in it's great.
Bacon butter,
butt butter,
duck
hand butter, bacon
duck
butter, beard butter, lung butter, duck butter. Yeah.
So yeah. So I feel like we talked about persistence so much in the last episode. We we kept coming back to it this episode.
I think we've been.
Here's
this
the thing.
episode. Period has been an example of persistence.
Is persistent.
We keep going.
And you know what?
It's a ebb and flow. We come back to zero and we're like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's keep talking.
And I'm gonna go.
That is persistence.
Coleman Martin. He was one who requested this topic. And Coleman, if we didn't do your topic justice, I apologize. But I'll be honest.
I'll be honest.
In your failure was also his idea, and that was I got to say, that was a phenomenal episode. I've listened to it a couple times now. Phenomenal episode. Now, persistence was kind of the key to the failure episode to make failure into a success. And we, like JB said, I think that not what we said, but how the episode flowed was more of the best example of persistence than anything. And I think that every topic, go listen to any of our topics. We are a very distracted group, where we're excited to talk to each other. So that has a little bit to do with it.
I don't think we need to describe it, Tim. I think people get it.
I'm just going to stop because you guys get it because you're smart and you like us. So, yeah.
No. Yeah, I'm not trying to cut you off.
No, you're right though. I over-explain stuff and I really don't need to because our listeners are smart.
It's fine, but you need to.
I think it's my line of work, like you said. I mean, in sales, it's always like, well, so what you're saying is blah 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 blah. Like it's very specific and kind of annoying sometimes. But I don't know. People seem to work. I don't know. It seems to work. I think I do it in a less annoying way than some other people, but I still probably do it where you're constantly asking people to go deeper into their answer. Like, so JB, if I'm hearing correctly, is that you're saying that it's not so much what we've said, but how we've said it and how we've kept kind of veering away from the topic, but coming back to the topic. And that's persistence. JB,
that's any sort of relationship in general.
Would you agree
honestly.
That's exactly what you're saying? So that being said, like if you were drowning and I threw you a life preserver, would you grab onto it? Yes. Okay, great. Well then.
No, I'd be pissed off that you threw it to me angrily.
Right? You're like, if I were to swim out to the buoy and save you, what would you do? I would drown you because you're fucking annoying. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. You didn't swim out to me using the breaststroke, so I would just through spite drown because fuck you.
So yeah, I think you're right. I think it is. So you know what, listeners, I apologize if I ever sound like I'm demeaning or mansplaining or anything like that. And by the way, I think mansplaining should really be changed to beta-splaining because there's women who do it, but they're like your John Waynes and your Clark Becksteads and your Brian Fricks. They don't do that shit. And those are the real men in the world. And the men who mansplain, they're just kind of not men.
Yeah, it's the beta males that are definitely beta
let's
humans.
Not insult John Wayne and let's not insult Clark Beckstead or Brian Frick. Let's call it something else. I'm just saying. Now, don't get me wrong. I totally disagree with people who do that, but I just think those are the annoying kind of entitled sort of self-righteous.
They're the people that just figured it out and want to sell you the fact that they know it.
People who kept your stepmom and her husband at the crosswalk for a half an hour by crossing the street really slowly because they have no control over their life and they're mad because they have no anything. I mean, they have less testicular fortitude than Jax, who had his testicles cut off at 2 weeks old.
That's describing to their friends how they kept people at bay,
or how badass they are. Yeah, if you have to talk about how badass you are, you're not badass at all. If you have to talk about how awesome you are, I'm sorry, you're not awesome at all.
Yeah,
that was kind of mean. It's true though.
No. It's pretty. Yeah, it
goes back to our whole thing.
It's pretty on point.
And I think that my final thought on persistence is, as far as persistence goes, have persistence to be yourself. Because if we've learned anything, and like I've said, I'm nothing special. JB probably not. I mean, I think JB's amazing. I think Steve's amazing. But in the grand scheme of things,
we all think we're.
No. I don't think I'm amazing. I think you guys are amazing. But ultimately, I think that the three of us are amazing, average people. And I think every one of you listening to me right now, who can hear my voice, this is my voice. And I think you're amazing. I think you're an amazing average person or amazing regular person or just amazing in general. I think you guys are all amazing. But I think that average or whatever is amazing. And I think that you should be persistent in being yourself because any relationship or job or thing, anything in general. Now, we all have to act a little bit to adapt to a certain situation, be it your job or a social situation, whatever. However, that is just a slightly different version of you. If you ever have to do anything that makes you not you, or makes you think you can't be you, or you think you can't be you, second guess that. Take that with a grain of salt, and then email Steve, because you know what? You is you, and you are amazing, and you're great, and you should always be comfortable being you. Now, there's different versions of you, for sure. Absolutely. I mean, I joke and talk about how I hate people, yet I'm in sales, so I have to deal with people all the time. Now, half of that is just me being kind of sort of sarcastically funny, but there's obviously, more social version of Tim and a more hermit version of Tim. But
Hermit.
I always am Tim. And I don't know that a year ago I was always comfortable with that, or that I thought that that's okay. But you know what? Now I can firmly and confidently say that Tim is a pretty cool guy, and I'm comfortable and happy being Tim. And anybody that doesn't like Tim, you know what? That's okay. You can kind of fuck off.
Fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. You can fuck off. And you know what? JB is an awesome, amazing person. And if you don't like JB, that's cool. Fuck off. Steve is amazing.
No, if you don't like me, I'm definitely going to make strides to make sure that you do like me. I'm just kidding.
And Steve, JB is going to effort tirelessly to make sure you like him. Steve is going to go put on his captain's hat and sit in his pool and cry and be emotional until you, and read sonnets until you like him. Tim is going to go lock himself in his room and be angry and engage in self-destructive behavior until you like him.
Okay, let me put forth my final thought.
Please do, because I'm drowning here, dude.
I know you are. It's all good. No worries. Here's my point being is that you look at the idea of persistence, and then you look at the human body. So we take something for granted every day, and it's breathing. You take a breath. You don't think about taking a breath. The human body is persistent as
well. You do it in your sleep, dude.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's my point. Is that take a hint from your body, to a lesser degree, walking. Dude. When we need something, we take steps.
You guys can look at your phone and not pay attention to walking, and you generally, most of the time, still get where you need to go without running into an object.
Well, and my point being is that if you look at, if you're having trouble with quote unquote being persistent, you're already there. You're living. That is a persistent act. Your body is breathing. Your body is persisting through existence. Steve, final thoughts?
Hey, man. Love you guys. And love you listeners, too. Thanks for being persistent and staying with us.
Steve is well drowning. Said. You guys, everyone who's listening to this podcast, you're all awesome. Be yourself. And if any situation calls for you to be anything other than a version of you, then that person can fuck off. Because you are you, and you should never have to be anything different than you. Now, if you want to strive to be a better version of you, that's cool. I'm fully in support of that. And if you want to make a change because of you or for you, I'm totally in support of that. I mean, it reminds me of, I've had multiple friends who have had different plastic surgeries of whatever sort. I've worked with plenty of plastic surgeons. I've sat through dozens of surgeries with plastic surgeons. And my whole thing about any surgery that is cosmetic that you want to get is, if it's for you, I fully support it. If it's for anything other than you, then I don't support it. And that's that. Because you are amazing, and you should always be able to be you. And that's all I got to say about that. Did I wrap that up nicely, JB, or what?
For sure.
Awesome. That was super narcissistic of me. I love it.
Steve's
back on his phone. We got to get Steve off his phone.
I'm trying to prepare for this interview tomorrow. Sorry, boys.
What interview do you have tomorrow?
I have an interview
for your new gig as the education person?
Yeah. Anyways, I got to go, guys. I got to go. Bye, Jibbles.
All right. Later, Steve.
It's 10:45.
Hey, guys. Thank you. We love you. And JB, your tagline, please.
Be good.
All right.
Or be good at it.
I love it. Hey, you guys have a great night, and we will talk to you soon. Peace.
Peace. So what I believe you were trying to say is thank you.